out of this one, Buck. Been out of food for 3 days. The temperature must be 50 below zero. Oh, the wolves. I can almost feel their eyes watching us, just waiting for a chance to get us. Well, we've only got one chance, boy. We're gonna have to fight our way out. Colin! Colin! Yes, Mom? It's time to go. Be right there. Okay, you know what to do, because we gotta go. Okay, come on.
I bet you put him up to that, huh?
Mom, can't we take him with us?
I said no.
Why not?
Because your father said so.
Not my father. Come on, Buck. Come on now, you stay here and be a good boy, okay? Oh, you know it's gotta be this way. He's making it be this way. Okay, now I'll see you later.
Laura? Colin? Mary's be home late. Please feed the dog. Just about sums it all up. Come on, you stupid mutt. Aren't you going to eat it? Yeah, I love you too. That is, if you want it. Did you hear something?
Yes?
I'm Barnaby Jones. Would you be Mrs. Beecher?
No. I'm afraid Laura isn't here right now. Did you have an appointment with her?
Yes, I think I did. My secretary called yesterday. I may be a little early.
Well, Flora had an appointment with you. I'm sure she'll be here. Why don't you come on in, Mr. Jones?
Thank you.
You can wait in here if you like.
Thank you.
I was a law partner of Mr. Beecher's. I just stopped by to pick up some papers he was working on at the time of his death.
Oh, you must be Claudia Elwood.
Yes, how did you know?
I represent California Meridian Insurance. Mr. Beecher carried a couple of rather large life insurance policies. One of them named your law firm as a beneficiary. I have an appointment to meet with your Mr. Carson later this afternoon.
Then you're an investigator.
Yes, because of the size of the policies, my company thought I ought to make a few inquiries into Mr. Beecher's accident.
Then you'd probably like to see where it happened.
Yes, I would, but I don't want to take you away from your work.
Oh. Believe me, Mr. Jones, if you're really going to investigate this accident, we're both working for exactly the same thing. According to the police report, Mr. Beecher came home, prepared a dish of food for the dog, and then brought it out here.
Yes, I saw the police report. They listed the attack as accidental. But you give me the impression that you think it was something more than that.
Well, Mr. Jones, all I can tell you is that dog was very well trained by Laura's first husband. Now, Laura's got a special way with that dog. And everyone knows Laura's the kind of woman who gets what she goes after.
What are you telling him?
Only the truth, Laura. That Joe's death has left you a very wealthy woman. Something you wouldn't have been after the divorce.
Get out of my house.
With pleasure. Mr. Jones, good watchdogs don't attack. Unless they're ordered to.
You're the man hired by the insurance company?
Yes, ma'am. Barnaby Jones.
I'm George Roswell. Laura's first husband, Ed, and I were in the Air Force together.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know what Claudia was telling you. Joseph and I did have problems in our marriage, but we were working them out. There was no talk of divorce.
Well, an old preacher friend of mine used to say, a good marriage is kind of like picking huckleberries in the summertime. All the good ones seem to be surrounded by the sharpest thorns.
What can we do for you, Mr. Jones?
There was a double indemnity accidental death clause in Mr. Beecher's life insurance policy.
That's fairly standard, isn't it?
Yes, but the question here is a technical one. Just how much and what kind of training did the dog have?
I don't think I follow you.
Well, it all boils down to this. Was Buck ever given any formal attack training?
If he had been, then the insurance company won't want to pay off on the double indemnity clause, right?
Right.
Colin's father trained Buck to protect us. I don't think he trained him to be a killer. But where you draw the line, Mr. Jones, is up to you and your company.
Did the dog have any history of biting people?
No. Never. Now, if there are no more questions?
I had hoped to talk to your son, Mrs. Beecher.
Colin hasn't been seen since breakfast. But I suspect you can find him where we found him for the last 3 days. At the pound where they're holding Buck.
Colin?
Yeah?
My name's Barnaby Jones. Hi there, fella.
Did you come here looking for me?
For you and Buck. Yeah, I was hired to check into your stepfather's accident.
Oh, no, you're not gonna kill my dog. I'm not gonna let anybody kill my dog.
Oh, now. What happens to Buck is in somebody else's hands.
Oh, Buck wouldn't hurt anybody, not unless he had a good reason.
You think maybe your stepfather had been mistreating him?
He must have. Buck's the only friend I got.
Colin, your mother's on the phone. She wants to speak to you.
ahead, son. Buck will still be here when you get back.
I don't know how I'm going to tell the boy. The order came down about an hour ago.
Destroy him?
Noon tomorrow. Want to see something, Mr. Jones? Come on, Buck. Heel. Buck, stay. Buck, come. Stay. Buck, light on. You think that's something? You ought to see him with Cullen. For 3 years now running, he and Buck have won the Best Obedience Trained Dog Trophy. Come here, boy.
You know, I realize there's a big difference between obedience training and attack training, but could you take a friendly dog like this and retrain him into a killer?
Well, normally I wouldn't think so. When a dog's as smart as Buck, you could probably teach him anything.
Look, Dan, I know Joe is working on a new will. All I want is a chance to find it.
You are a single-minded woman, aren't you?
Dan, if you'll just unseal Joe's files, I know it's in there someplace.
Oh, Mr. Carson, there's a Mr. Jones waiting for you.
Mr. Jones?
Yes,
I'm Dan Carson. Sorry to have kept you waiting. We got held up in Judge's chambers.
that's perfectly all right.
I understand you've already met Miss Selwood.
Under less than pleasant circumstances, I'm afraid.
Claudia told me it wasn't a very pretty scene.
Well, I was puzzled when we got around to discussing divorce.
Laura denied all knowledge of it, of course.
I'm curious, why do you say of course?
Because, Mr. Jones, for Laura to admit that Joe was planning a divorce, or that he was in the process of changing his will, cutting both her and the boy out, would be to admit that she had a very good motive for murdering him.
Claudia,
Dan, I plan to prove everything I've just said.
you'll have to excuse her. She started working here about 6 years ago as a secretary. Joe Beecher took her under his wing and encouraged her to go to law school at night, helped her through the bar exam.
Then you don't share her suspicions of Mrs. Beecher.
Let's just say that she took Joe's death pretty hard. However, you were interested in the partnership papers with Mr. Beecher? Had a copy made. Think you find it in order?
You understand the company's interest?
$1 million corporate life insurance payoff? I think I'd want a thorough investigation, too.
What are you doing here?
I needed some of Joe's legal papers. I didn't want to disturb you.
You didn't want to disturb me, huh? You break into my house like a common thief? I ought to call the police and have them lock you up.
Oh, go right ahead. Call them. I'll tell them what I was really looking for. And maybe when they know, they'll be interested enough to look for themselves.
And what's that supposed to mean?
You know perfectly well. The proof that you had a very good reason to murder Joe.
Oh, Claudia, that's a laugh, isn't it? If anyone had a reason to murder Joe, I'd say it was probably you. You wouldn't be the first office trollop whose married lover boy was stringing her along with promises he never intended to keep.
You're forgetting one thing, Laura. It was your dog that killed Joe. Your dog. And who else but you would know how to set him on someone to kill them?
Wiley?
Yes?
I'm Barnaby Jones. I was hired to look into Mr. Beecher's death.
Oh, well, what can I do for you?
According to Mrs. Beecher's statement, she and her son Colin had dinner with you here the night Mr. Beecher was killed.
That's right. They got here about 5:45, just about the time my husband was coming home from dinner, and they left sometime after 10.
You were good friends with the Beechers.
Oh, yeah, we were neighbors for over 7 years until Laura remarried last year and moved away. Our boys practically grew up together.
Mom? Can I go swimming over at Richie's house?
Jimmy, this is Mr. Jones. He's investigating Mr. Beecher's death.
Howdy.
Hi.
I'll bet you and Colin and Buck were terrific friends.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember if Buck ever showed any sign of being vicious? You know, biting and snapping at people?
No, sir. Buck never bit anyone.
It is a puzzle. A friendly dog suddenly turning mean. The other day, when Colin was over here for dinner, did he say anything then about Buck suddenly turning vicious?
No, sir. Colin didn't say anything to anyone that night. He was really mad about something. As soon as his mother left, he took off. Didn't even stay for dinner.
He didn't stay for dinner.
Go have your swim, son, and be home early.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
We have a point of contradiction.
You've got to understand, Mr. Jones. Laura married Joe because she thought it would be a stabilizing force for Colin, but Colin wouldn't accept him as a stepfather, and because of it, Laura and Joe had terrible fights.
What time did she leave?
A little after 7.
And Colin?
A few minutes later, but Laura didn't have anything to do with Joe's death. You've got to believe that.
Well, it isn't just me that's got to believe it. The police also.
Dear.
There's just one more question I have, Mrs. Wiley. Whatever happened to Mrs. Beecher's first husband?
Ed? Oh, he drowned. It was a real shame, too. He'd finally gotten that big break he'd waited for all his life. You know, the big job out of the country. They were going to be moving in a few weeks, but Colin was real upset because they wouldn't let him take Buck with him, so Ed took him on a fishing trip, you know, to try and cheer him up.
What happened?
The boat overturned. They say it was a real miracle that Colin and the dog got out of it alive.
Soon? Yeah. Won't be long now.
Come on, boy.
Come in. We've been expecting you.
I thought you might be.
I just got off the phone with Mary Wiley, Mr. Jones. I thought I told you once before that I felt my marriage and whatever problems it may or may not have had were none of yours or anybody else's business.
Well, ordinarily I'd agree with you, ma'am, but right now I'm trying to determine a fundamental issue in the death of your husband.
Whether Buck had formal attack training or not. Well, frankly, Mr. Jones, I do not care. And since it's so important to you and your company, why don't you just forget the double indemnity clause?
Well, that's very generous of you, ma'am, but that's not the issue I'm concerned with. The thing that bothers me is whether your husband's death was really accidental or murder.
Murder? But they have the dog.
Yes, I know that, Mr. Roswell, but I just can't believe that Buck would turn that suddenly, unless he had reason to or somebody triggered him.
But the police report listed Joe's death as an accident.
That same report puts you and your son at the Wiley place at the time.
What do you want from me, Mr. Jones?
Well, let's start with the truth.
All right. I was with George that night. Okay? It's out in the open now.
We didn't start out to hide anything. After Joe was dead, Claudia Elwood was making her wild charges, we thought it was best to leave things as they were, letting everybody believe that Laura was at Mary's.
I don't suppose there's anyone who could verify where you two were at the time of the attack.
No. I'm afraid we were quite alone.
We're looking for Colin. Is he here?
No, what's happened?
I'm afraid he broke into the shelter and took Buck.
Colin and Buck used to roam those hills by the hours. I don't know where else they could possibly be.
Thank you.
Miss Beecher, the night your husband was killed, have you any idea where Colin went to after he left the Wileys?
Well, he said he walked home through the shopping area, stopped to watch a baseball game in a store window, and... Oh, surely you don't think that...
Mr. Jones, your daughter-in-law is on the phone.
Thank you. Hello?
Barnaby, I just had a meeting with my friend at the office building where Joe Beecher worked.
I hope you two had a nice class reunion.
We certainly did. And she says the word is that Joe Beecher and Claudia Elwood were having a hot and heavy romance, but that Mrs. Beecher was putting on the pressure.
With any results?
Husband Joe was beginning to toe the line, much to the displeasure of Miss Elwood.
Good work, Betty. Now, I want you to check out a George Roswell, Roswell. He's local. Check the Air Force for background.
All right. But Barnaby, wait, there's more. In checking on Miss Elwood's hometown up in Idaho, I found that her father was a veterinarian up there. He also had a business on the side, a kennel for breeding and training of guard and attack dogs. Interesting?
Don't you know it's past 6 o'clock?
Dad, I'm going to find that will if I have to go through every piece of paper in this office.
Well, if that's what it's going to take to get us back to normal, I wish you Godspeed.
Thanks. Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night. Well, Mr. Jones, coming to pay off our insurance claim?
Well, no, there are still a few details to be worked out. I came over to see Miss Elwood.
Oh, she's over there in Joe Beecher's old office.
Thank you.
Yes?
Elwood?
Oh, Mr. Jones. Is there something I can do for you?
Well, yes. My daughter-in-law, Betty, had a very interesting reunion with an old college friend today.
Well, that's very nice, I'm sure.
So happens that the friend works here in this building, and she seemed to know a great deal about you and the late Mr. Beecher.
We were in love. Is that what you're leading up to?
According to the friend, the romance seemed to have died down, mostly on his part.
It's a damn lie. I loved Joe, and he loved me. I knew it, and he knew it, and Laura knew it. And that's why she used that dog to kill him.
That's a very strong accusation.
And it's going to be even stronger when I find that new will Joe was working on. And prove that Laura knew he was going to divorce her.
Well, when you find it, I wouldn't mind reading that document myself.
Mr. Jones, in that case, I'll put you at the top of my list. You'll be the first person I call when I find it.
That's right friendly of you, Miss Elwood. I guess I better go now and let you continue with your work. Oh, that's a very interesting theory of yours, that somebody used a dog for a murder weapon. In order for somebody to kill Mr. Beecher that way, they would have had to have some skills in dog handling and training.
Yes, I suppose they would.
You know, come to think of it, Miss Elwood, with your background, your father's kennels and all, that description could even fit you. Betty! doing here?
Now you show up. I've just spent the last 20 minutes transcribing my notes from shorthand so that you could read them. Is there any news on Colin and Buck?
No. Nothing on either one of them. Police have a helicopter with a searchlight on it combing the hills back of the house. It's pretty cold up there at night.
Oh, those are your calls, and also some preliminary information on George Roswell. It seems that he was indeed a very close family friend. In fact, many of their friends were very surprised when Laura decided to marry Beecher last year instead of Roswell.
Any guesses on the reason for the switch?
Best I could do was, as with Scarlett O'Hara, Laura had had her fill of poverty. Beecher had plenty of money, and George Roswell is a struggling architect.
Claudia Elwood called.
About 20 minutes ago.
See if you can get her on the phone.
Oh, by the way, a couple of months ago, George Roswell approached Beecher to help finance a large housing project he had planned. And despite pressure from Laura, Beecher turned him down. There doesn't seem to be any answer, Barnaby. I imagine she's gone home.
Make a note, call her first thing in the morning. And I want to dig a little deeper into the financial situation of George Roswell. And while you're at it, do the same thing for Dan Carson.
Beecher's partner?
I'd like to know just how great a need he has for the $1 million in insurance he's about to collect.
Buck? Colin, are you in here? Colin. Colin, call him off. Colin! Colin! Stop it, for God's sake! Colin! Colin!
All right. How did you know?
I take it you've had your chat with the coroner?
I just left him. He finished re-examining Miss Elwood's body, and he found just what you said he might. Scratch marks that might have come from a dog. Now, how did you know?
Over this way, Lieutenant.
My men are getting sloppy.
Not necessarily. They weren't looking for dog tracks, and I was. From the size of the track, I would imagine it was a pretty big dog, possibly a German Shepherd.
Looks like I owe you for this one. When do I pay the bill? Now or later?
Right now would be very nice, Lieutenant. If I wouldn't get in the way of your forensic experts, I'd like to take off a set of prints for myself.
Take what you want. Just leave a couple of good ones for my team of forensic experts, all right?
I'll get my equipment.
Lieutenant?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. I just had a talk with the parking attendant who was on duty last night. He was on the ground floor when he heard Miss Elwood. He he says that she kept screaming one word over and over.
Which was?
Well, that's what doesn't make any sense. You see, he said she kept screaming, calling, 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 but who could she be calling?
Calling? Or Colin?
Hi, Jimmy.
I'm not supposed to talk to you.
Well, I guess I can understand how you feel, and believe me, Jimmy, I wouldn't be here if it weren't important. Now, you're a friend of Colin's. You know where he and Buck are hiding?
I don't know where they are. I already told the police that.
You sure? Might be someplace where the three of you used to play when he lived next door.
No, I told you I don't know where they are.
Well, it's just that I'm so worried about Buck.
No, you're not. You're just like all the rest. You just want to see him put to sleep.
Well, the sad part of it is, they may not have to destroy him anymore. If they don't get to him soon, it'll be too late anyway. He'll be dead.
What do you mean he'll be dead?
When he was in that animal shelter, they gave him some medicine. It was the wrong prescription. If he doesn't get the antidote soon, it'll be too late. Well, sorry to bother you.
Pork and beans. Guess it ain't the best breakfast in the world, but it's all we got, boy. Colin, you gotta get Buck to a vet real soon. What are you talking about? That Mr. Jones came by. He said that they gave Buck some medicine while he was at the pound. And if he doesn't get some more, he's gonna die. Are you sure?
No, he's not sure. Sorry to trick you, son, but that's the only way I could get you to lead me to your friends.
Colin!
I understand you're going on 13 now, son. Back where I come from, the boy gets that age, we kind of expect him to act like a man every now and then. Now, you can't run away from this trouble. You better stay and face it like a man.
No, I'm not gonna let him kill my dog. He didn't kill my stepfather. He didn't.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't think he did either. But we can't prove anything just by wanting to. We need evidence. And I think between all of us, we might be able to prove that we're right.
Well, how?
Jimmy, in the back of my car, there's some testing equipment. Bring it down here.
How?
Yes, sir. I think between the two of us, we can work this out. There we go. 4 for 4 and not a match. What's this? A little cut?
Well, I guess maybe he got that when I cut him out of his cage.
Doesn't seem to match any of the other prints. Well, this proves that Buck wasn't the dog in the garage last night.
But they'll still want him for killing my stepfather.
I don't think so, son. I think when we show these prints to the police, they'll realize that it would be pretty coincidental for two identical killer dogs to be roving the city at the same time. You know what? I think it's time for you and Buck to go home. I think your mother will be glad to see you.
Oh, Colin, you had me so worried.
I'm sorry, Mom, but I had to do it. I couldn't let him kill Buck.
Oh, no.
Colin, I'm afraid the authorities are still going to want him.
No, not now. Mr. Jones says he can prove that it wasn't Buck.
Are you trying to tell me that Buck didn't kill my husband?
We could make a very strong case for that.
That's ridiculous. That would mean that there was another dog in the backyard that night.
That's the way it seems to lay out, Mr. Roswell.
But Joe didn't like dogs. Why, he was afraid of them. He wouldn't have gone out in the backyard for any other dog but Buck.
That may be, but he may have gone out there to feed a dog he thought was Buck. May I use your telephone? I think Lieutenant Biddle ought to know that Colin and Buck are home.
You can use the one in the den if you like.
Thank you.
George, you're not going, are you?
I can't stay. Look, Colin is back. There are things that I have to take care of.
But
Barnaby, I have been trying for over an hour to reach you.
Sorry, Betty, I was visiting a friend over at Veterans Administration. What do you got?
Well, the financial information you wanted. George Roswell was in deep trouble. The housing project that he wanted Beecher to fund apparently had been his last hope to avoid bankruptcy.
Had been.
Well, it was announced yesterday. The housing project is going ahead as scheduled. Laura Beecher has agreed to underwrite it.
What about Dan Carson?
Oh, well, the opposite end of the financial scale altogether. Besides the law practice, at which he does very well, he's the head of a large land development company. No, the only thing $1 million insurance payoff will do for him is maybe give him, a few banking problems.
See if you can get Dan Carson on the phone.
All right. What were you doing over at the Veterans Administration office?
I was trying to follow through on that picture I saw in the Beecher study. Wanted to find out what George Roswell and Colin's father did when they were in the service.
Did you?
I had to call the Military Personnel Records Bureau. They were both air police assigned to SAC Base Security.
Yes. Barnaby Jones for Mr. Carson. Is he in, please?
Part of their jobs were training and handling German Shepherds for patrol dogs.
Yes, Mr. Carson. Just one moment, please.
Carson? Yes, what can I do for you, Mr. Jones?
Well, I was wondering whether we could come over to your office for a little while.
Well, I can't promise to be here. I'm still in a bit of shock. First Joe and then Claudia. I have commitments to meet, court appearances.
I can certainly understand your problems, Mr. Carson. Actually, we don't need your physical presence. It's just that before Miss Elwood died, she became convinced that the reason for Joe Beecher's death was in his file. And what I'm asking for is permission for us to go through the file.
Well, if you think it'd do any good, I'll tell my secretary to expect you.
Well, thank you. We should be there within a half hour.
We should be there?
Well, you are the one with the office expertise, aren't you?
And you think whatever I'll be looking for in Beecher's office was probably misfiled, huh?
Either that, or Joe Beecher felt the need to deliberately hide it.
Where will you be? Dog kennels?
Dog kennel that raises and trains German Shepherds for security work.
All right, come on, jump! Get it! Get it! Come on. Come on, get it!
Yeah, I used to raise hounds down home. Best hunting dogs in the Ozarks. Moved to California to be near our growed-up kids and found out nobody here got time to go hunting. Seems like all they do is try to hang on to what they already got. So we started raising these animals. Now, even with that pad, if Ray didn't know just how to move, that dog would tear him to pieces. Oh, thank you, Billy. Don't know if you'll find what you're looking for in here, Mr. Jones, but that's everybody that bought dogs from us in the last 6 months.
Well, I've checked out the other 3 kennels in this area that train security dogs. And if I don't find what I'm looking for here, it may be that I just made a wrong guess.
Well, what's the verdict? You find a name that strikes your fancy?
I think maybe so.
Who are you?
I'm Betty Jones, Barnaby Jones's daughter-in-law. You must be Mr. Carson.
That's right. I was just on my way to court. I thought I'd stop by and say hello to your father-in-law. Is he here?
Well, I'm afraid that I draw all the paperwork in the family. He's out checking dog kennels.
Well, just tell him I said hello.
I'll do that, Mr. Carson.
Thank you.
You look enough like Buck to be his twin brother. I think it's time we let people know about you. Carson, go off your dog. Don't make me shoot him. Now, Carson.
You Mr. Jones?
Yes. This is Mr. Carson, the man you want.
Your daughter-in-law's the one who called us. She said you might need some help out here.
That girl's timing is getting better with each passing day. Dan Carson's land development investment group was a swindle. Your husband found out about it, amassed some powerful evidence, and was blackmailing him.
But why did Dan kill Claudia?
Beecher hid the evidence in an envelope and taped it to the bottom of a filing drawer. Carson looked for it but never found it,
And when Claudia started looking for papers indicating a new will,
which incidentally never existed.
Carson was afraid that she'd find the blackmail evidence, which would of course point to him as Mr. Beecher's murderer.
After Carson killed Claudia, he looked for the evidence again, satisfied that it wasn't in the drawer. He allowed us to look.
Us?
A figure of speech, Betty, purely. Now, I think that we ought to get out of here and let these folks get on with plans for their housing project.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jones, I just wanted to thank you. I mean, I guess there was even a little while there when I thought Buck was a killer. But you always believed in him.
That's true, Barnaby, from the very beginning. How did you know that Buck wasn't the killer?
That was the easiest part of the case, Betty. Buck told me. Didn't you, boy?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
She didn't leave. Where is she?
She's still over there in the park. Kelly, wait. Now, come on, honey, slow down. But come on, what were you going to do? Just walk up to her and say, hi, Mom. I'm the baby you gave up for adoption 20 years ago.
It's just that I've been so nervous about meeting her, I guess I just wanted to get it over with before I lost my nerve.
Sure, I understand that. But I haven't talked to the lady yet. I'm not even positive she's the right one. And even if she is, I still think it's best if I go over and speak to her alone first.
To make sure she wants to see me.
Now, Kelly, my way, please.
Okay.
I'll try not to be too long.
Somebody go call an ambulance, please.
Well, I'll do my best to pick up where Marvin Cage left off, but I sure wish he were here to finish up.
After it happened, I gave some thought to forgetting the whole thing. But then his wife, his widow, phoned and gave me your name.
Just what was it that Marv was looking into for you, Miss Anderson?
He was trying to find someone for me. My mother.
Your mother? I remember reading somewhere that your mother and father were killed in an air crash.
They weren't my real parents. I'm adopted.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Neither did I. Until their lawyer gave me a letter that they had left with their will.
It must have been a shock.
Anyway, they said in the letter that they didn't know who my real father was, but they had this with my mother's name on it.
Mother's name, Mary Renee Wilson. It's a photocopy. Do you have the original?
No. I'd like to believe that my real mother kept the original herself. You know, to remember the baby that she had to give up.
That's logical. I can believe that's the way it happened.
According to this, my mother was young, only 17 when I was born. It's strange. I wasn't surprised to find out that I'd been adopted. I think I suspected it from when I was a little girl. Not that my adopted mother and father didn't do everything to make me feel like their own child. They did. Will you let me know how it's going, Mr. Jones?
The instant I get any information, I will give you a call. But I can't help wondering, 20 years, are you sure you want to stir around in the past after all this time?
No, I'm not sure I want to. But I feel as though I have to.
Took me all night to get rid of the car and get your ride back into town. Any more beer in the house?
No, it's the last one. There was an item in the morning paper about that detective. Did you have to kill him?
He was about to deliver the girl right into your sister's lap.
He got that close?
I told you you gave him too much when you talked with him.
That was before we had this idea. Man comes to the door, is trying to locate my sister Mary. I didn't know what it was all about then.
Well, it never would have worked with that detective walking around anyway. Now nobody will ever know he came here first. And as far as the girl is concerned, she still doesn't know what her mother looks like. Did you call Mary yet? Come on, Anita. Mary's your part of the deal.
Oh, I told you we haven't spoken to each other for 8 years.
Well, I don't care if it's been 80. I found out that little girl just inherited a few $1 million and she's looking for a mother.
All right, all right. I'll call her just as soon as I finish the wash.
No, I've got a better idea. I'll go get cleaned up, and then you and I'll go see her, face to face.
Here's the stuff Mark Gates had on him when he was hit. One wallet, one pocket notebook, assorted keys, small change.
You check on that other matter?
Oh, yeah, there's no police record on a Mary Renee Wilson. Computer came up empty. Did I miss something in Marv's casebook?
That seems to be just a bunch of figures. Mean anything to you?
No, just mileage and expenses, about all I could figure.
Well, maybe Emily Cage can make some sense out of it. Could I have copies of the last few pages?
Sure, if you want.
You check on the hit and run?
Yeah, just that it was a 72, 73 black four-door sedan. Nobody got a make or a license. You can pick up copies of this at the duty desk in about 10 minutes.
I'll pick it all up then.
Okay.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Well? I know I'm gonna blow it. She'll tell me to get lost. I'll tell her to go to hell.
Okay. I was a pretty fair used car salesman. Let's see if I can sell a used sister.
Yes?
Mary? Mary Wilson?
Yes. Who are you?
Grant's the name. Grant Brockman. I'm a friend of Anita's. Your sister, Anita?
I know who you mean. What about Anita?
Look, Miss Wilson, Mary,
I know you and Anita have had your differences over the years.
That's putting it mildly.
But what you may not know is how much Anita blames herself for the trouble between you. And she wants more than anything else to make up with you. Fact is, she's right there, in the car.
Anita's come here to make up?
She was afraid to come to the door with me. She lost her nerve at the last minute.
Mr. Brockman, how come you're so interested in Anita and me making up?
Well, that's easy. I want to marry the girl. But she's got this cloud hanging over her because of her problems with you. Mary, she made it that far. And it took a lot of effort for her to do it, too. Now, how about you? Can't you find enough forgiveness to meet her halfway?
You're looking good, Mary.
You too, Anita.
You know, I can't think of a darn thing to say.
Look, it's silly standing outside. Would you and Mr. Brockman like to come in for a while?
Sure. I mean, why not?
Honestly, some of this stuff's been in Marv's desk since before I met him. You think he'd throw something away once in a while. You know, I don't know what to do about the Anderson case. Marv had been working on that for almost 10 days, and...
Oh, I've already taken care of that. I called Kelly Anderson and told her to send the entire investigation fee to you. No argument. That's the way we do in this business. If one man takes over another man's job, we have a gentleman's agreement. Marv must have done it a dozen times.
I don't believe that one bit, Barnaby.
Scout's honor.
All right. I won't pretend I can't use the money. Thank you.
Now, when I picked up Marv's personal effects from police headquarters, I took the liberty of having several pages of his casebook copied. Now, it didn't make too much sense to me, but you take a look at it. Anything in there that applies to the Anderson case?
No, just expense items. Hours, mileage on his car. I'm sorry.
What about these letters? ED. Could be initial or it could mean Ed.
There was an Ed. Flynn, Ed Flynn. Marv said he was a forest ranger, said he'd been very helpful.
Did he ever happen to mention where Ed Flynn worked?
I can't recall. Hold it, Barnaby. I stopped by the phone company today. Closed out the car phone account.
Local call. Local. Except this one. Clary. Clary, isn't that up near Angeles National Forest? I guess it wouldn't take long for the Forestry Service to tell us whether they have a ranger named Ed Flynn stationed up there.
Grant's gonna take a little nap before supper, I think. He didn't get much rest last night.
He's very good looking. How long have you been seeing him?
Seeing him? We've been living together for almost a year, if that's what you mean.
Times certainly change, don't they?
Not up here, they don't. I keep expecting to hear Mama's voice yelling for her medicine from her bedroom. Mary, I know you must still hate me for leaving you alone with all that.
just couldn't take it.
It's not so bad anymore, with Mama gone. I've really come to love this old place.
Living here all alone all these years. You're still hiding, aren't you?
From Bobby.
Maybe. Heaven knows why I should, though. He's still locked up in prison.
Not anymore, he isn't.
What?
Yeah, I just talked to someone from the old neighborhood. Ruth Collins.
And she told me that Bobby was being paroled.
She specifically told me because she was worried about you.
I mean, because of the way Bobby threatened you if you ever got out.
But that was such a long time ago. He and I were just kids. He couldn't still hate me that much after all these years.
Maybe not, but I'm worried. Especially after what happened just a few days ago.
Why? What happened?
Well, this man came to see me. He was a private detective named Marvin Cates, and he said he was trying to locate you.
Coming when it did, right after hearing that Bobby was out. You can bet I didn't tell him anything. But it was pretty obvious he was working for Bobby.
Oh, Anita. Do you really think... Yesterday there was a man here, too.
Did you talk to him?
No, I just gotten out of the shower, so I didn't go to the door, but I looked through the curtains, and he hung around outside for quite a long time before he drove away.
Well, the man I talked to, Cates, was about 50, with gray hair and a mustache.
That's him, I'm sure of it. And the more I think of it, driving into Los Angeles later, I had a feeling like I was being followed. And all morning while I was shopping, going to the park.
Hey, come on. It's all right. We're here now, Grant and me.
He swore he'd kill me. He yelled it right out in the courtroom.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is starting to sound a little grim. What are you gonna do? I mean, if he's crazy enough to come after you.
I can't stay here. I've got to get away.
Yeah, but where will you go?
And Carla, she's always after me to come up to San Francisco and stay with her.
San Francisco, that's perfect. She still lives alone, doesn't she?
But the house, it'll take me time to close it up.
Oh, Grant and I'll be glad to stay and look after things.
Would you do that for me?
What's a sister for?
Name of Ed Flynn?
You don't look like a man who would louse up a guy's day off.
No, sir, not me. Especially if it looks like the guy's going fishing. Some things are sacred.
I'm Flynn.
Jones, Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a lady named Mary Wilson. She's supposed to live up here somewhere.
Mary? Hey, what's going on? You're the second private detective this week asking about Mary Wilson. She isn't in any trouble.
No, nothing like that. I'm just working on the other detective's case. You see, he was killed in an accident a few days ago.
Killed? Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But you do know Mary Wilson?
Close to 20 years. Since she and her mother and sister moved into that place up the canyon.
She's not married?
No. When her kid sister moved away, 8, 9 years ago, Mary got stuck with taking care of her mother. Nursed her right up till the day she died.
Was her mother some kind of an invalid?
Yeah, exactly what she was. Some kind of miserable, poisonous invalid. Ever since her mother died, Mary's been living in that place all by herself. You know, it isn't right for a woman to be by her lonesome so much. No, not that I haven't hinted around more than once that I wouldn't mind changing that situation for her,
Well, thank you for your help. I think I'll take a drive up there.
Well, it's 10.2 miles on your odometer. Brown bungalow on the left side of the road. You can't miss it.
Much obliged.
Tell Mary I'll be along in a little while to fix that refrigerator.
Yes?
Good morning. My name is Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator.
Yes, Mr. Jones?
I was engaged to try to locate a sort of a missing person. Mary Renee Wilson.
Missing? But she's right here. Would you like to come in, Mr. Jones? I'm Mary Wilson.
Oh, thank you. Very nice to meet you, Miss Wilson.
Mr. Jones, I must admit I'm dying to know why I'm a missing person.
Well, before we get into that, I think it's important that I find out if you are the Mary Wilson that I'm looking for. Do you mind showing me some identification? I realize it's very strange for me to come charging up to your door and asking you to prove that you are you.
No, it's really all right. I don't mind proving who I am. How about a credit card? Some old letters? Lots of bills? Will they do?
Do you have a driver's license, anything like that?
Well, I don't have a car, Mr. Jones, so I don't have a license. I think you better tell me what this is all about.
Miss Wilson, I understand you were never married.
That's correct.
I hate to pry into your private life, but did you ever have a child?
I really don't think that's any of your business, Mr. Jones. Now, if you'll just leave.
My client is a young lady who is looking for her true mother. I have reason to believe that that's you.
Mr. Jones, are you trying to tell me that my baby is looking for me?
She's still called by the same name that her mother gave her when she was born?
Kelly?
Kelly's 22 now. She just found out that she was adopted. She'd like to meet her real mother.
I'm afraid you'll have to forgive me. I'm really a little stunned by all this.
Well, if you don't want to see your daughter, I'm sure she'll respect your feelings.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to see her. I think I do. I think I'd like very much to meet my little girl.
Well, there are certain special considerations that you'll understand after you meet her.
Oh, I don't follow you, Mr. Jones.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, Kelly has a copy of her birth certificate. Now, if you had the original, that would be positive, definite proof.
Well, if I still have it, I mean, it's been years. I don't know if I can find it.
Well, if you can't find it, I suppose there are other ways of verifying that you're Kelly's mother. But if you could come up with that certificate...
Well, I'll start looking for it right away.
If you have any luck, give me a call. And I'll try to arrange a meeting with Kelly. Thank you.
Grant, he wants a birth certificate. We need that to make the whole thing gel.
He's really being cautious, isn't he?
Well, for a few $1 million, what do you expect?
All right. If Mary kept it, we'll find it. And if we can't, we'll figure out another way. You start looking in here, and I'll take the bedrooms.
Find Mary all right? Yeah, but, you know, we got to talking, I forgot to give her your message.
That's all right. I'll surprise her.
Grant!
Jones again.
Grant.
Oh, Mary, I'm sorry. For a moment there, I thought you were Mary. Where is she?
Well, she's out of town.
Out of town?
Mm-hmm.
Jones just came from here. He said he had just talked to her.
Well, he was wrong.
Hey, what's going on here? Mary?
Mary's not having any more company today. She said to tell you that she'll call you in a few days.
I want to hear that from Mary.
What are you going to do?
What do you think?
Grant.
We're not letting it get away from us.
Kelly, don't let your imagination run away with you.
Guess I'm just scared.
Of what?
A mother who gave me up because she just plain didn't want me, and who could care less about seeing me now?
You don't really believe that, do you?
Well, glad you didn't start the celebration before I got here.
Please, Barnaby, don't joke around with me.
Second thoughts?
Something like that.
Not really. It's not really second thoughts. I mean, I started this, and I'll see it through. I may wish that I'd never been born at all. Barnaby, did you talk to my mother?
I talked to a lady that I am reasonably certain was your mother, yes.
Well, does she have any interest at all in my dropping into her life after 20-odd years?
I'd say she had a lot of interest. Might even say she was enthusiastic.
She really wants to see me. It's amazing.
Grant? I've got it.
Where was it?
It was up there. I remembered all of a sudden Mary used to leave things up there sometimes.
Well, I wish you'd remembered before we tore this place apart. Okay. You can call Jones in the morning. Tell him you found it. We can wrap it up in a day or two. Way before your sister ever gets back.
Kelly Wilson. Kelly was our grandmother's name, you know. Mom had a fit when she gave it to a baby she was giving away. Wonder what she's like. Pretty, I bet.
She's rich. That's what she's like. Very, very rich.
You know, I used to wonder what it would be like having a baby.
Smarts a lot, I hear.
I don't mean that. I mean being a mother. Grant? He's here.
Betty, what am I going to say to her?
Don't worry. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, this is the original certificate, all right. Sorry I made you dig this up, but there's a lot at stake, you understand.
Yes, I do.
Morning.
Oh, Mr. Jones, this is Grant Brockman.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes. I'm Mary's fiancé. Stopped by this morning. She told me what's been going on.
I saw two women in the car. Is one of them Kelly?
Yes, Kelly insisted on coming out.
Grant, she's here.
Yes. Well, aren't you going to ask her in?
Mother? You know, it's funny. I thought it would be so natural.
Well, I think we both need time to catch our breath.
Look, if I made a mistake coming here, starting all this.
Oh, no. I've been thinking all these years about you.
Have you?
Would you like some tea?
Joe, like me to fix you something?
No. You two should spend some time alone. Must be a lot to talk over.
Yes, I guess we should.
We'll wait for you out here, Kelly.
Don't trouble yourself, Mr. Jones. I'll drive her back whenever she's ready to go. I'm your mama's fiancé, honey. I hope to be your stepdad real soon.
We don't mind waiting.
Oh, no, you've done so much already.
Call us later.
Isn't that something? After all those years.
Yeah. Well, nice to meet you, Mr. Brockman.
Same here, Mr. Jones.
Well, you don't seem too sentimental about the happy ending.
No, I guess I'm not.
Are you worried about something?
Grant Brockman. He said he was engaged to Mary Wilson. Where did he come from?
I don't know what you mean.
According to the ranger, Ed Flynn, Mary's a loner. Doesn't have any friends? Nobody. Where did Brockman pop up from all of a sudden? I just came out to see the ranger, Ed Flynn.
Forest Service business?
Well, no, I just wanted to ask him a few more questions.
Are you a friend of Ed's?
As a matter of fact, I just met him yesterday.
Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but his pickup went off the road last night, up on Skyline Ridge.
Your father was a boy from the neighborhood, a couple of years older than me. I was 16. And I really thought I loved him.
What was his name?
Bobby Carter. Everyone said he was kind of wild, but I guess I didn't listen. And then, one day he picked me up after school in his car. And he drove me to this little liquor store. I waited outside in the car. And then I heard shots. And then Bobby had all this money. The police caught us that night. But because I was so young and he'd forced me to go, they didn't prosecute me. But I testified. I helped send him to prison. It wasn't until after the trial that I found out I was going to have you. My mother wouldn't let me keep you. She made us move to that house so as no one would know.
Where's my father now?
Last I heard, he was badly hurt in a fight in the prison. And he had permanent brain damage. And he'll be in an institution the rest of his life. I'm sorry, I know it's an ugly, ugly story. Maybe I shouldn't have told you.
No, I wanted to know. What a nightmare for you. I think I can understand now why you gave me up for adoption.
Well, I didn't want to. I really didn't. And then after Mother died, I guess I just got used to being alone.
Well, you're not going to be alone any longer. You're going to come and live with me. If you and Mr. Brockman have no other plans.
Kelly.
Mom, I'd like to try and make up for the life you've had. We'll be friends. I know we will.
Barnaby, you are going to worry a hole in Lieutenant Biddle's carpet. I mean, what more proof do you need? I mean, there isn't any doubt that the lady is Miss Wilson, is there?
What about what the ranger said? All those years she spent up there alone.
Perhaps he didn't know. I mean, she obviously had gotten lucky and found a fella.
2 fellas. Unless I read the ranger wrong. After all those years of living alone, all of a sudden she got herself 2 fellas.
Well, if you two are here to take me to some nice, quiet place for supper, you can forget it. I already ate.
Lieutenant, we need help.
The line form's right behind me.
Name Grant Brockman. That mean anything to you?
Nope. Should it?
I was hoping it would.
John, we can see how busy you are. If you could just make an R&I check on Mr. Brockman, we'd appreciate it.
Who's busy? 2 unsolved murders, 7 aggravated assaults, 11 other assorted felonies. You think I'm busy?
That's Brockman with a K.
I'll have it for you in a half hour.
Mary'll never know, even if she does come back here.
I've thought it through. I'm not leaving her dangling over our head. As soon as I can arrange a good cover story, I'm taking a plane to San Francisco.
Grant, she's my sister.
Think about one thing. Kelly can't have 2 mothers. It's either got to be you or Mary. Understand?
I found out, Anita. I telephoned San Quentin. I wanted to complain to the parole authorities about Bobby, and the warden told me what happened. That I don't ever have to be afraid of Bobby again. But you knew that all along, didn't you?
I was sure you'd never find out.
Why? You wanted me to run off. You planned it that way. Why?
Got any new ideas, Anita? Or do you want to just leave it all to me? It's Jones. You go talk to him. Get rid of him.
What's going on, Anita? What are you mixed up in?
You go take care of Jones. I'll stay here with Mary.
Anita, please.
Go on.
Oh, hello, Miss Wilson. Is Mr. Brockman around?
He had to go into town. I dropped him at the bus.
I thought you said you didn't drive.
No, I said I didn't have a license. I do drive sometimes.
Is this Mr. Brockman's car?
Yes?
According to the DMV, it's a 1972 black four-door sedan registered in his name.
Well, what about it?
Well, there's a car or something like that that was involved in a hit and run early part of the week. A man named Marvin Cates was killed.
I never heard of Mr. Cates. Sorry, but I've got to go back.
Marv Cates was working for Kelly at the time he was run down. It almost seems as if someone was trying to prevent him from finding Kelly's mother.
From finding me?
Where is the black car?
It was stolen nearly 2 weeks ago.
Funny it wasn't reported.
Well, you'll have to talk to Grant about that. I'm sorry, I have some things in the oven.
Anita, please, I'm your sister, your own flesh and blood.
No, I can't let you do it.
Shut up or I'll put you in a hole with her.
Brockman, let her go! Mary Wilson, isn't it?
Yes.
Mary, would you call the sheriff and an ambulance, please?
This is where she lives?
Don't let it scare you. Right now, Kelly is a very confused and disappointed young lady.
Maybe we shouldn't rush her.
She needs her mother.
Her real mother.
There she is, Mary. Go on.
So I'm a pushover for a happy ending. At least this time it was a happy ending.
We gotta keep doing it till we finally got it right.
Chapter 1. The Shadow in the North. The wind howled across the frozen wilderness, a relentless force that threatened to consume everything in its path. In the imaginative mind of young Colin, The backyard had transformed into a perilous landscape of survival. He huddled close to his faithful companion, a magnificent German shepherd named Buck, whose thick fur offered a small sanctuary of warmth against the imaginary elements. "I do not know if we are going to make it out of this one," Colin whispered, his voice trembling as he played his part in the grand adventure. "But we have been out of food for 3 days. The temperature must be 50 below zero. Oh, the wolves. I can almost feel their eyes watching us, just waiting for a chance to get us." Buck let out a soft whine, nuzzling the boy's shoulder as if he understood the gravity of their make-believe plight. Colin patted the dog's head reassuringly. "Well, we have only got one chance, boy," Colin continued, his eyes wide with dramatic resolve. "We are going to have to fight our way out." "Colin!" The sharp, clear voice of his mother broke the spell, shattering the icy wilderness and bringing Colin instantly back to the reality of their sunlit suburban home. Colin, his mother, Laura Beecher, called out again, her tone carrying a mix of urgency and weariness. "Yes, Mom?" Colin answered, standing up and brushing the dust from his knees. "Time to go," Laura said, stepping out onto the porch. "Be right there," Colin replied, turning back to his canine partner. "Okay, you know what to do because we have got to go."
"Okay, come on." "Oh, yes."
Buck leaped up joyfully, placing his large paws on Colin's chest in an affectionate display of loyalty. Laura watched them, a heavy sigh escaping her lips. "Okay, down, Buck," Colin laughed, gently pushing the dog back to the ground. "I will bet you put him up to that, huh?" "Mom, can we take him with us?" Colin asked, his eyes filled with pleading hope. "I said no," Laura replied firmly, though her heart ached at the disappointment on her son's face. "Why not?" "Because your father said so," Laura answered, referring to her second husband, Joseph Beecher. "Not my father," Colin muttered under his breath, the resentment clear in his young voice. He could never view Joseph as a true parent. "Come on, Buck," Colin said, turning his attention back to the dog to hide his sadness. "Come on now, you stay here and be a good boy, okay?" "Oh, you know it has got to be this way. He is making it be this way." "Okay, now I will see you later." Laura walked back inside, leaving a brief note on the kitchen counter for her husband. The note read clearly, "Mary, it has been home late. Please feed the dog." When Joseph Beecher arrived home later that evening, the house was dark and quiet. He found the note on the counter and frowned, grumbling to himself about the chore. He grabbed a bowl of dog food and stepped out into the dim backyard. "Just about sums it all up," Joseph muttered, his voice dripping with annoyance as Buck approached him slowly. "Come on, you stupid mutt. Aren't you going to eat it?" "Yeah, I love you too. There it is if you want it." Joseph set the bowl down heavily. Buck stood perfectly still, his ears pricked, listening intently to a strange sound rustling in the bushes near the edge of the property. Joseph paused, noticing the dog's sudden alertness. "Did you hear something?" Joseph asked, turning his head toward the shadows.
"Come on."
Before he could react, a low, ferocious growl echoed through the darkness. A massive shape lunged from the shadows, not Buck, but a creature of terrifying speed and anger. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving Joseph no time to defend himself. Chapter 2: The Inquiry. The morning sun brought little warmth to the crime scene. Barnaby Jones, a seasoned private investigator known for his sharp wit and meticulous attention to detail, arrived at the large Beecher estate. He walked up the steps and rang the doorbell, his calm demeanor hiding the sharp analytical mind at work. The door opened to reveal a sharp-featured woman with an air of professional coldness. "Yes?" she asked. "I am Barnaby Jones," the investigator said smoothly, lifting his hat slightly. "Would you be Mrs. Beecher?" No," the woman replied, shaking her head. "I am afraid Laura is not here right now. Did you have an appointment with her?" "Yes, I think I did," Barnaby answered. "My secretary called yesterday. I may be a little early." "Well, if Laura had an appointment with you, I am sure she will be here," she said, stepping aside to let him pass. "Why don't you come on in, Mr. Jones?" "Thank you," Barnaby said, stepping into the grand foyer. "You can wait in here if you like," she offered, gesturing toward a spacious sitting room. "Thank you," Barnaby said. "I was a law partner of Mr. Beecher's. I just stopped by to pick up some papers he was working on at the time of his death." "You must be Claudia Elwood." "Yes," Claudia replied, surprise flashing across her face. "How did you know?" "I represent California Meridian Insurance," Barnaby explained, settling into a chair. Mr. Beecher carried a couple of rather large life insurance policies. One of them named your law firm as a beneficiary. "I have an appointment to meet with your Mr. Carson later this afternoon." "Then you are an investigator," Claudia said, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Yes," Barnaby confirmed. "Because of the size of the policies, my company thought I ought to make a few inquiries into Mr. Beecher's accident." "Then you would probably like to see where it happened," Claudia suggested, her tone turning meaningful. "Yes, I would," Barnaby said, standing up. "But I don't want to take you away from your work. Believe me, Mr. Jones, if you are really going to investigate this accident, we are both working for exactly the same thing," Claudia said, leading the way out to the backyard. They walked out onto the manicured lawn, stopping near the area where Joseph Beecher had met his tragic end. According to their police report, Joe, Mr. Beecher, came home, prepared a dish of food for the dog, and then brought it out here, Barnaby noted, looking around the pristine yard. "Yes, I saw the police report," Claudia said, her voice laced with skepticism. "They listed the attack as accidental. But you give me the impression that you think it was something more than that," Barnaby observed quietly. "Well, Mr. Jones, all I can tell you is that that dog was very well trained by Laura's first husband," Claudia said coldly. "Now, Laura has got a special way with that dog. And everyone knows Laura is the kind of woman who gets what she goes after." "What are you telling him?" The sharp interruption came from Laura Beecher herself, who had just entered the yard, accompanied by a tall man in civilian clothes. "Only the truth, Laura," Claudia shot back, unflinching. "That Joe's death has left you a very wealthy woman. Something you would not have been after the divorce." "Get out of my house," Laura demanded, her voice shaking with suppressed anger. "With pleasure," Claudia sneered, turning to leave. She paused beside Barnaby, leaning in slightly. "Mr. Jones, good watchdogs don't attack unless they are ordered to." With that final parting shot, Claudia walked away, leaving a heavy silence in the yard. Chapter 3. Thorns and Truths. Laura took a deep breath, trying to regain her composure as she turned to Barnaby. "You are the man hired by the insurance company?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," Barnaby replied politely. "Barnaby Jones." The man beside Laura stepped forward, offering his hand. "I am George Roswell," he introduced himself. "Laura's first husband, Ed, and I were in the Air Force together." "Nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you," Barnaby said, shaking his hand. "I don't know what Claudia was telling you," Laura said quickly, her defensive walls rising. "Joseph and I did have problems in our marriage, but we were working them out. There was no talk of divorce." Barnaby smiled softly, a gentle, folksy wisdom entering his voice. "Well, an old preacher friend of mine used to say, a good marriage is kind of like picking huckleberries in the summertime. Well, the good ones seem to be surrounded by the sharpest thorns. What can we do for you, Mr. Jones?" "There was a double indemnity accidental death clause in Mr. Beecher's life insurance policy," Barnaby explained. "That is fairly standard, isn't it?" George Roswell asked. "Yes," Barnaby agreed. "But the question here is a technical one. Just how much and what kind of training did the dog have?" "I don't think I follow you," Laura said, frowning. "Well, it all boils down to this," Barnaby said. "Was Buck ever given any formal attack training? If he had been, then the insurance company won't want to pay off on the double indemnity clause, right?" "Right," George nodded in understanding. "Colin's father trained Buck to protect us," Laura said defensively. "I don't think he trained him to be a killer. But where you draw the line, Mr. Jones, is up to you and your company." "Did the dog have any history of biting people?" Barnaby asked.
"No."
"Never," Laura stated firmly. "Now, if there are no more questions," George began, implying it was time for Barnaby to leave. "I had hoped to talk to your son, Mrs. Beecher," Barnaby said. "Colin hasn't been seen since breakfast," Laura replied, a touch of maternal worry entering her voice. But I suspect you can find him where we found him for the last 3 days, at the pound where they are holding Buck. Chapter 4. The Innocent Condemned. The city animal shelter was a bleak, noisy place filled with the echoes of barking dogs. Barnaby Jones walked down the concrete corridor until he found young Colin sitting on a wooden bench outside a large cage. Inside the cage, Buck sat quietly, his intelligent eyes fixed on the boy. "Colin?" Barnaby called out gently.
"Yeah?"
The boy replied, looking up with a defensive, distrustful gaze. "My name is Barnaby Jones," the investigator said, crouching down to be at eye level with the boy. He looked at the German shepherd. "Hi there, fella. Did you come here looking for me?" "For you and Buck," Barnaby answered. "Yeah, I was hired to check into your stepfather's accident." Instantly, Colin stood up, stepping between Barnaby and the cage, his small chest heaving with emotion. "Oh, no," Colin cried out. "No, you're not going to kill my dog. I am not going to let anybody kill my dog. Oh, no. What happens to Buck is in somebody else's hands," Barnaby said softly, trying to soothe the boy's rising panic. "Buck wouldn't hurt anybody, not unless he had a good reason," Colin insisted, his voice cracking. "You think maybe your stepfather had been mistreating him?" Barnaby asked gently. "He must have," Colin whispered, looking back at the dog. "Buck is the only friend I got." Before Barnaby could respond, a shelter attendant stepped into the hallway. "Colin, your mother is on the phone," the attendant said. "She wants to speak to you." "Go ahead, son," Barnaby encouraged. "Buck will still be here when you get back." Colin hesitated, then ran off to answer the call. The shelter attendant walked over to Barnaby, watching the boy go with a heavy heart. "I don't know how I am going to tell the boy," the attendant sighed. "The order came down about an hour ago." "To destroy him?" Barnaby asked, his eyebrows rising. "Noon tomorrow," the attendant confirmed grimly. Barnaby looked at Buck, who was now standing by the chain-link fence, his tail wagging slightly. "Want to see something, Mr. Jones?" the attendant asked, stepping closer to the cage to demonstrate the dog's exceptional demeanor. "Come on, Buck. Heel." The dog immediately followed the command with perfect precision. "Buck, stay," the attendant ordered. "Buck, come."
"Stay."
"Buck, light on." The German shepherd executed every command flawlessly, showing absolutely no signs of aggression. "You think that is something?" the attendant said proudly. "You ought to see him with Colin. For 3 years now, Ronnie, he and Buck have won the Best Obedience Trained Dog trophy." "Come here, boy." Barnaby patted the dog through the mesh, deeply impressed. I realize there is a big difference between obedience training and attack training," Barnaby mused aloud. "But could you take a friendly dog like this and retrain him into a killer?" "Well, normally I would not think so," the attendant answered thoughtfully. "But when a dog is as smart as Buck, you could probably teach him anything." Chapter 5. Hidden Motives. Meanwhile, at the law offices of Beecher and Carson, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Claudia Elwood was frantically searching through filing cabinets, her face pale with desperation. Dan Carson, the remaining partner of the firm, walked into the office, his expression stern. "Look, Dan, I know Joe is working on a new will," Claudia said without stopping her search.
"All I want is a chance to find it."
"You are a single-minded woman, aren't you?" Dan Carson replied, his voice smooth but guarded. "Dan, if you will just unseal Joe's files, I know it is in there someplace," Claudia pleaded, turning to look at him. Before Dan could answer, his secretary opened the door. "Oh, Mr. Carson, there is a Mr. Jones waiting for you." "Mr. Jones?" Dan repeated.
"Yes."
Dan walked out to the reception area where Barnaby was waiting patiently. "I am Dan Carson," he introduced himself, offering a firm handshake. "Sorry to have kept you waiting. We got held up in judge's chambers." "That is perfectly all right," Barnaby replied easily. "I understand you have already met Miss Elwood." "Under less than pleasant circumstances, I am afraid," Claudia said, stepping out from the inner office. "Claudia told me it wasn't a very pretty scene," Dan remarked, guiding Barnaby into a private office. "Well, I was puzzled when we got around to discussing divorce. Laura denied all knowledge of it, of course." "I am curious," Barnaby said, his interest piqued. "Why do you say of course?" "Because, Mr. Jones, For Laura to admit that Joe was planning a divorce or that he was in the process of changing his will, cutting both her and the boy out, would be to admit that she had a very good motive for murdering him, Claudia stated bluntly. Claudia, Dan said warningly, though his tone was mild. Dan, I plan to prove everything I have just said, Claudia insisted before walking out of the room. Dan turned to Barnaby with an apologetic smile.
You will have to excuse her, he said.
She started working here about 6 years ago as a secretary. Joe Beecher took her under his wing and encouraged her to go to law school at night, helped her through the bar exam. Then you don't share her suspicions of Mrs. Beecher, Barnaby noted. Let us just say that she took Joe's death pretty hard, Dan replied evasively. However, you were interested in the partnership papers with Mr. Beecher? I had a copy made. I think you will find it in order. You understand the company's interest? Barnaby asked. $1 million corporate life insurance payoff? I think I would want a thorough investigation, too. Later that evening, the conflict moved back to the Beecher home. Laura entered her late husband's study only to find Claudia going through his desk drawers. What are you doing here? Laura demanded, her voice ice-cold. I needed some of Joe's legal papers, Claudia replied defiantly. I didn't want to disturb you. You didn't want to disturb me, huh? Laura scoffed, her anger rising. You break into my house like a common thief. I ought to call the police and have them lock you up. Oh, go right ahead, Claudia challenged, stepping toward her.
Call them.
I will tell them what I was really looking for. And maybe when they know, they will be interested enough to look for themselves. And what is that supposed to mean? Laura asked, her eyes narrowing. You know perfectly well the proof that you had a very good reason to murder Joe, Claudia accused. Oh, Claudia, Laura laughed bitterly. That is a laugh, isn't it? If anyone had a reason to murder Joe, I would say it was probably you. You would not be the first office trollop whose married lover boy was stringing her along with promises he never intended to keep. You are forgetting one thing, Laura, Claudia hissed, her face contorted with rage. It was your dog that killed Joe. Your dog. And who else but you would know how to set him on someone to kill them? Chapter 6. The History of the Neighbor. Seeking to build a clearer picture of the family dynamics, Barnaby Jones paid a visit to Mary Wiley, the Beechers' former neighbor. They sat on the front porch of her comfortable home while her son played nearby. Mrs. Wiley?
Barnaby began.
Yes, she replied. I am Barnaby Jones, he said. I was hired to look into Mr. Beecher's death. Oh, Mary said, her expression turning somber. Well, what can I do for you? According to Mrs. Beecher's statement, she and her son Colin had dinner with you here the night Mr. Beecher was killed, Barnaby noted. That is right, Mary confirmed. They got here about 5:45, just about the time my husband was coming home from dinner, and they left some time after 10. You were good friends with the Beechers, Barnaby observed. We were neighbors for over 7 years until Laura remarried last year and moved away, Mary explained warm-heartedly. Our boys practically grew up together. Just then, a young boy ran up to the porch.
Mom.
Can I go swimming over at Richie's house? Jimmy, this is Mr. Jones, Mary introduced him. He is investigating Mr. Beecher's death. Howdy, Jimmy said politely. Hi, Barnaby smiled. I will bet you and Colin and Buck were terrific friends. Yes, sir, Jimmy beamed. Do you remember if Buck ever showed any sign of being vicious? Barnaby asked, shifting into his casual investigative tone. You know, biting and snapping at people? No, sir, Jimmy answered confidently. Buck never bit anyone. It is a puzzle, Barnaby mused. A friendly dog suddenly turning mean. The other day, when Colin was over here for dinner, did he say anything then about Buck suddenly turning vicious? No, sir, Jimmy said, shaking his head. Colin didn't say anything to anyone that night.
He was really mad about something.
As soon as his mother left, he took off. Didn't even stay for dinner. He didn't stay for dinner? Barnaby repeated, capturing the critical piece of information. Go have your swim, son, and be home early, Mary told her son. Yeah, thanks, bye. Jimmy shouted as he ran off. Barnaby turned back to Mary, his expression serious. We have a point of contradiction, he pointed out gently. You have got to understand, Mr. Jones, Mary pleaded defensively. Laura married Joe because she thought it would be a stabilizing force for Colin, but Colin wouldn't accept him as his stepfather, and because of it, Laura and Joe had terrible fights. What time did she leave? Barnaby asked. A little after 7, Mary admitted softly. And Colin? A few minutes later, Mary replied. But Laura didn't have anything to do with Joe's death. You have got to believe that. Well, it isn't just me that has got to believe it, Barnaby said. The police also.
Oh, dear.
There is just one more question I have, Mrs. Wiley. Whatever happened to Mrs. Beecher's first husband?
Ed?
Mary sighed. Oh, he drowned. It was a real shame, too. He had finally gotten that big break he had waited for all his life. You know, the big job, out of the country. They were going to be moving in a few weeks, but Colin was real upset because they wouldn't let him take Buck with him, so Ed took him on a fishing trip, to try and cheer him up. What happened? Barnaby asked. The boat overturned, Mary said sadly. They say it was a real miracle that Colin and the dog got out of it alive. As Mary spoke, the memory flashed in the minds of those who knew the story. The roaring river, the capsized boat, and Ed's final desperate cries echoing through the wilderness. Bucky, back. Go back. Go back. Don't worry, boy. Yeah, your family will be here soon. Yeah, won't be long now.
Come on, boy.
Chapter 7. Alibis and Missing Boys. Barnaby returned to the Beecher residence to confront Laura with the newly discovered gaps in her timeline. He was greeted at the door by George Roswell, who led him into the living room where Laura sat.
Come in, George said.
We have been expecting you. I thought you might be, Barnaby said calmly. I just got off the phone with Mary Wiley, Mr. Jones. Laura stood up, her face tight with irritation. I thought I told you once before that I felt my marriage, and whatever problems it may or may not have had, were none of yours or anybody else's business. Ordinarily, I would agree with you, ma'am, Barnaby countered smoothly. But right now I am trying to determine a fundamental issue in the deaths of your husband, whether Buck had formal attack training or not. Well, frankly, Mr. Jones, I do not care, Laura snapped. And since it is so important to you and your company, why don't you just forget the double indemnity clause? Well, that is very generous of you, ma'am, Barnaby said, unfazed. But that is not the issue I am concerned with. The thing that bothers me is whether your husband's death was really accidental or murder. Murder? George Roswell repeated, stepping forward. But they have the dog. Yes, I know that, Mr. Roswell, Barnaby said, turning to him. But I just can't believe that Buck would turn that suddenly unless he had reason to or somebody triggered him. But the police report listed Joe's death as an accident. That same report puts you and your son at the Wiley place at the time. What do you want from me, Mr. Jones? Laura asked, her defenses finally crumbling into exhaustion. Well, let us start with the truth, Barnaby requested. All right, George sighed, stepping closer to Laura. I was with George that night. Okay? It is out in the open now. We didn't start out to hide anything. After Joe was dead, Claudia Elwood was making her wild charges. We thought it was best to leave things as they were, letting everybody believe that Laura was at Mary's. I don't suppose there is anyone who could verify where you two were at the time of the attack, Barnaby noted. No, George admitted grimly. I am afraid we were quite alone. Before they could discuss the matter further, the phone rang, and a loud commotion was heard from the hallway. A police officer stepped into the room, looking urgent. We are looking for Colin, the officer announced. Is he here? No, Laura said, panic instantly rising. What has happened? I am afraid he broke into the shelter and took Buck, the officer revealed. Laura gasped, turning to George. Colin and Buck used to roam those hills by the hours. I don't know where else they could possibly be. Thank you, Barnaby said to the officer. He turned back to Laura. Mrs. Beecher, the night your husband was killed, have you any idea where Colin went after he left the Wileys? Well, he said he walked home through the shopping area, stopped to watch a baseball game in a store window, and... Laura trailed off, her eyes wide. Surely you don't think that. Before she could finish, the household maid stepped into the room. Mr. Jones, your daughter-in-law is on the phone. Thank you, Barnaby said, stepping into the den to take the call. Hello? Barnaby, It is Betty, his daughter-in-law and trusted investigative partner, said over the line. I just had a meeting with my friend at the office building where Joe Beecher worked. I hope you two had a nice class reunion. We certainly did. Barnaby smiled. What did she say? She says the word is that Joe Beecher and Claudia Elwood were having a hot and heavy romance, but that Mrs. Beecher was putting on the pressure, Betty reported. With any results? Barnaby asked. Husband Joe was beginning to toe the line, much to the displeasure of Miss Elwood, Betty said. Good work, Betty, Barnaby praised. Now, I want you to check on a George Roswell. He is local.
Check the Air Force for background.
All right, Betty agreed. But, Barnaby, wait. There is more. In checking on Miss Elwood's hometown up in Idaho, I found that her father was a veterinarian up there. He also had a business on the side, a kennel for breeding and training of guard and attack dogs. Interesting, Barnaby muttered, the pieces of the puzzle beginning to align in a completely new direction. Chapter 8. Shadows in the Night. Later that night, back at the law offices, Dan Carson was preparing to leave when he noticed a light still shining in Joe Beecher's old office. He walked in to find Claudia, still hunting through files. Don't you know it is past 6 o'clock? Dan asked gently. Dad, I am going to find that if I have to go through every piece of paper in this office, Claudia said, her voice strained with exhaustion. Well, if that is what it is going to take to get us back to normal, I wish you Godspeed, Dan said, turning to leave. Thanks. Good night. I will see you in the morning. Good night, Claudia replied. As Dan walked out to the reception area, he ran into Barnaby Jones, who was just walking in. Well, Mr. Jones, coming to pay off our insurance claim? Dan asked with a light smile. Well, no, Barnaby replied. There are still a few details to be worked out. I came over to see Miss Elwood. Oh, she is over there in Joe Beecher's old office, Dan pointed out. Thank you, Barnaby said, walking toward the open door. Yes, Miss Elwood? Oh, Mr. Jones, Claudia said, looking up from a stack of papers. Is there something I can do for you? Well, yes, Barnaby said, leaning against the doorframe. My daughter-in-law Betty had a very interesting reunion with an old college friend today. Well, that is very nice, I am sure, Claudia said dismissively. So happens that the friend works here in this building, Barnaby continued, his tone conversational but sharp. And she seemed to know a great deal about you and the late Mr. Beecher. We were in love, Claudia said flatly, her eyes flashing. Is that what you were leading up to? According to the friend, the romance seemed to have died down, mostly on his part, Barnaby noted. It is a lie, Claudia shouted, her anger boiling over. I loved Joe, and he loved me. I knew it, and he knew it, and Laura knew it. And that is why she used that dog to kill him. That is a very strong accusation, Barnaby warned. And it is going to be even stronger when I find that Newell Joe is working on and prove that Laura knew he was going to divorce her, Claudia declared fiercely. Well, when you find it, I wouldn't mind reading that document myself, Barnaby said. Well, Mr. Jones, in that case, I will put you at the top of my list, Claudia said sarcastically. You will be the first person I call when I find it. That is right friendly of you, Miss Elwood, Barnaby smiled. I guess I better go now and let you continue with your work. Oh, that is a very interesting theory of yours, that somebody used a dog for a murder weapon. In order for somebody to kill Mr. Beecher that way, they would have had to have some skills in dog handling and training. Yes, I suppose they would, Claudia said, her voice dropping slightly. You know, come to think of it, Miss Elwood, Barnaby concluded with a knowing look, with your background, your father's kennels and all, that description could even fit you. Barnaby turned and walked out into the cool night air, leaving Claudia alone with her thoughts. An hour later, the building was completely empty. Claudia was finally walking toward the underground parking garage, her heels clicking loudly against the concrete. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the darkness of the garage. Claudia froze. Out of the shadows emerged a large German shepherd, its lips curled back to reveal sharp teeth. No, Claudia whispered, backing away. No, please. The dog lunged. Claudia's screams echoed through the empty structure, repeating a desperate, frantic cry over and over into the night. Chapter 9. Traces in the Dust. The next morning, Barnaby arrived at his own office to find Betty hard at work, surrounded by transcripts and notes. "Betty," Barnaby exclaimed, "what are you still doing here?" "Now you show up," Betty teased, looking up from her typewriter. "I have just spent the last 20 minutes transcribing my notes so that you could read them." "Is there any news on Colin and Buck?" Barnaby asked anxiously. "No, nothing on either one of them," Betty sighed. "Police have a helicopter with a searchlight on it coming in the hills back of the house. That is pretty cold up there at night. Well, those are your calls and also some preliminary information on George Roswell. It seems that he was indeed a very close family friend. In fact, many of their friends were very surprised when Laura decided to marry Beecher last year instead of Roswell. Any guesses on the reason for the switch?" Barnaby asked. "Best I could do was, as with Scarlett O'Hara, Laura had had her fill of poverty," Betty explained. "Beecher had plenty of money, and George Roswell is a struggling architect." "Oh, and Claudia Elwood called about 20 minutes ago. See if you can get her on the phone," Barnaby requested. Betty dialed the number, waiting as it rang repeatedly. While she waited, she continued her report. "By the way, a couple of months ago, George Roswell approached Beecher to help finance a large housing project he had planned, and despite pressure from Laura, Beecher turned him down." "There doesn't seem to be any answer, Barnaby," Betty said, hanging up the phone. "I imagine she has gone home." "Make a note," Barnaby instructed. "Call her first thing in the morning. And I want to dig a little deeper into the financial situation of George Roswell. And while you are at it, do the same thing for Dan Carson." "Beecher's partner?" Betty asked. "I would like to know just how great a need he has for the $1 million in insurance he is about to collect," Barnaby said. Before they could proceed, the police scanner crackled to life, announcing a homicide at the downtown parking garage. Barnaby rushed to the scene, finding Lieutenant Biddle waiting for him near the chalk outline of Claudia Elwood's body. "All right, Barnaby, how did you know?" Biddle asked as Barnaby approached. "I take it you have had your chat with the coroner." "I just left him," Barnaby said. "He finished re-examining Miss Elwood's body, and he found just what you said he might. Scratch marks that might have come from a dog." "Now, how did you know?" "Over this way, Lieutenant," Barnaby said, leading Biddle toward a dusty corner of the garage floor. "Your men are getting sloppy." "Not necessarily," Biddle defended. "They weren't looking for dog tracks, and I was—" Barnaby pointed to a clear paw print pressed into the dust. "From the size of the track, I would imagine it was a pretty big dog, possibly a German Shepherd," Barnaby analyzed. "Looks like I owe you for this one," Biddle conceded. "When do I pay the bill? Now or later?" "Right now would be very nice, Lieutenant," Barnaby smiled. "If I wouldn't get in the way of your forensic experts, I would like to take off a set of prints for myself." "Take what you want," Biddle allowed. "Just leave a couple of good ones for my team of forensic experts." "All right. I will get my equipment," Barnaby said. Just then, a detective ran up to them. "Lieutenant?" "Yeah?" "Excuse me, Lieutenant. I just had a talk with the parking attendant who was on duty last night. He was on the ground floor when he heard Miss Elwood. He says that she kept screaming one word over and over." "Which was?" Biddle asked. "Well, that is what doesn't make any sense," the detective said, scratching his head. "You see, he said she kept screaming, calling, 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 but who could she be calling?" "Calling?" Barnaby mused, his mind racing. "Or Colin." Chapter 10. The Sanctuary of the Hills. Knowing he had to find the boy before the police did, Barnaby drove out to the Wiley neighborhood. He found young Jimmy Wiley working on his bicycle in the front yard. "Hi, Jimmy," Barnaby called out. "I am not supposed to talk to you," Jimmy said defensively, looking away. "Well, I guess I can understand how you feel, and believe me, Jimmy, I wouldn't be here if it weren't important," Barnaby said kindly. "Now, you are a friend of Colin's. Do you know where he and Buck are hiding?" "I don't know where they are," Jimmy insisted. "I already told the police that." "You sure?" Barnaby pressed gently. "Might be someplace where the three of you used to play when he lived next door." "No, I told you. I don't know where they are," Jimmy repeated, his voice wavering. "Well, it is just that I am so worried about Buck." Barnaby sighed heavily, playing a clever tactical card. "No, you are not," Jimmy yelled angrily. "You are just like all the rest. You just want to see him put to sleep." Well, the sad part of it is they may not have to destroy him anymore, Barnaby said with simulated grimness. If they don't get to him soon, it will be too late anyway. He will be dead. What do you mean he will be dead? Jimmy asked, his eyes wide with sudden fear. When he was in that animal shelter, they gave him some medicine, Barnaby lied smoothly. It was the wrong prescription. If he doesn't get the antidote soon, it will be too late. Well, sorry to bother you. Barnaby turned and walked back to his car, knowing the boy would immediately run to warn his friend. Barnaby watched from a distance as Jimmy grabbed his coat and rushed up into the rocky hills behind the estate. Deep in a hidden cave in the hillside, Colin sat next to Buck, opening a can of food with a pocket knife. Pork and beans, Colin whispered to the dog. Guess it ain't the best breakfast in the world, but it is all we got, boy. Suddenly, Jimmy burst into the cave, panting heavily. Colin, you got to get Buck to a vet real soon.
What are you talking about? Colin asked, standing up.
That Mr. Jones came by, Jimmy explained breathlessly. He said that they gave Buck some medicine while he was at the pound, and if he doesn't get some more, he is gonna die. I don't think so, a calm voice echoed from the entrance of the cave. Barnaby Jones stepped into the light. Are you sure? No, he is not sure. Sorry to trick you, son, but that is the only way I could get you to lead me to your friend. Colin stepped back, holding Buck's collar.
Colin.
I understand you are going on 13 now, son, Barnaby said, his voice rich with fatherly guidance. Back where I come from, a boy gets that age. We kind of expect him to act like a man every now and then. He can't run away from this trouble. You better stay and face it like a man. No, I am not going to let him kill my dog, Colin cried. He didn't kill my stepfather. He didn't. You know, the funny thing is, I don't think he did either, Barnaby revealed softly. But we can't prove anything just by wanting to. We need evidence. And I think between all of us, we might be able to prove that we are right.
Well, how?
Colin asked, a glimmer of hope appearing in his eyes. Jimmy, in the back of my car, there is some testing equipment, Barnaby instructed. Bring it down here.
How? Jimmy asked.
Yes, sir. Barnaby smiled. I think between the two of us, we can work this out. A few minutes later, Barnaby was carefully lifting ink prints from Buck's paws and comparing them to the photographs of the tracks from the garage. For 4 and not a match, Barnaby announced, staring at the results. What is this little cut thing on his back paw? I guess maybe he got that when I cut him out of his cage, Colin explained. It doesn't seem to match any of the other prints, Barnaby observed joyfully. Well, this proves that Buck wasn't the dog in the garage last night. But they will still want him for killing my stepfather, Colin noted sadly. I don't think so, son, Barnaby assured him. I think when we show these prints to the police, they will realize that it would be pretty coincidental for 2 identical killer dogs to be roving the city at the same time. You know what? I think it is time for you and Buck to go home. I think your mother would be glad to see you. Chapter 11. The Twisted Plot. They walked back down the mountain together, returning to the Beecher home where Laura ran out to embrace her son. Oh, Colin, you had me so worried, Laura cried, holding him tight. I am sorry, Mom, but I had to do it, Colin said. I couldn't let him kill Buck. Colin, I am afraid the authorities are still going to want him, Laura said tearfully. No, not now, Colin beamed. Mr. Jones says he can prove that it wasn't Buck. Are you trying to tell me that Buck didn't kill my husband? Laura asked, looking at Barnaby in disbelief. We could make a very strong case for that, Barnaby nodded. That is ridiculous, George Roswell said, stepping out onto the porch. That would mean that there was another dog in the backyard that night. That is the way it seems to lay out, Mr. Roswell, Barnaby agreed. But Joe didn't like dogs, Laura pointed out. He was afraid of them. He wouldn't have gone out in the backyard for any other dog but Buck. That may be, Barnaby reasoned, but he may have gone out there to feed a dog he thought was Buck. May I use your telephone? I think Lieutenant Biddle ought to know that Colin and Buck are home. You can use the one in the den if you like, Laura offered. Thank you, Barnaby said, walking inside. George Roswell looked anxious, checking his watch. George, you are not going, are you? Laura asked. I can't stay, George replied nervously. Look, Colin is back.
There are things that I have to take care of.
but it is. Inside the den, Barnaby dialed his office. Barnaby, I have been trying for over an hour to reach you, Betty said instantly. Sorry, Betty, I was visiting a friend over at the Veterans Administration, Barnaby said. What do you have? Well, the financial information you wanted, Betty reported. George Roswell was in deep trouble. The housing project that he wanted Beecher to fund apparently had been his last hope to avoid bankruptcy. Had been? Barnaby caught the tense. Well, it was announced yesterday, Betty explained. The housing project is going ahead as scheduled. Laura Beecher has agreed to underwrite it. What about Dan Carson? Barnaby asked. Oh, well, the opposite end of the financial scale altogether, Betty said. Besides the law practice, at which he does very well, he is the head of a large land development company. Oh, the only thing $1 million insurance payoff will do for him is maybe give him, a few banking problems. See if you can get Dan Carson on the phone, Barnaby instructed. All right, Betty said. What were you doing over at the Veterans Administration office? I was trying to follow through on that picture I saw in the Beecher study, Barnaby revealed. Wanted to find out what George Roswell and Colin's father did when they were in the service. Did you? I had to call the Military Personnel Records Bureau, Barnaby said. They were both air police assigned to SAC-based security. Yes. Barnaby Jones for Mr. Carson. Is he in, please? Part of their jobs were training and handling German Shepherds for patrol dogs. Yes, Mr. Carson. Just one moment, please. Dan Carson came onto the line. Carson? Yes. What can I do for you, Mr. Jones? Well, I was wondering whether we could come over to your office for a little while, Barnaby requested. Well, I can't promise to be here, Dan replied smoothly. I am still in a bit of shock. First Joe and then Claudia. I have commitments to meet court appearances. I can certainly understand your problems, Mr. Carson, Barnaby said. Actually, we don't need your physical presence. It is just that before Miss Elwood died, she became convinced that the reason for Joe Beecher's death was in his file. And what I'm asking for is permission for us to go through the file. Well, if you think it would do any good, I will tell my secretary to expect you, Dan agreed. Well, thank you, Barnaby said. We should be there within a half hour. Barnaby hung up and turned to Betty, who had just walked into the room. We should be there? Well, you are the one with the office expertise, aren't you? Barnaby smiled. And you think whatever I will be looking for in Beecher's office was probably misfiled, huh? Either that, or Joe Beecher felt the need to deliberately hide it. Where will you be? Betty asked. Dog kennels? Dog kennel that raises and trains German Shepherds for security work, Barnaby confirmed. Chapter 12. The Final Verdict. Barnaby drove out to a secluded breeding facility in the countryside. He walked past rows of cages, watching a trainer working with a fierce dog using a large padded sleeve. Come on, Joe.
Get it. Get it. Come on. Come on. Get it.
The owner of the kennel, an older man named Billy, walked up to greet him. I used to raise hounds down home, Billy said proudly. Best hunting dogs in the Ozarks. Moved to California to be near our grown-up kids, and found out nobody here got time to go hunting. Seems like all they do is try to hang on to what they already got. So we started raising these animals. Now, even with that pad, if Ray didn't know just how to move, that dog would tear him to pieces. Oh, thank you, Billy, Barnaby said as Billy handed him a large ledger. Don't know if you will find what you are looking for in here, Mr. Jones, Billy said. But that is everybody that bought dogs from us in the last 6 months. Well, I have checked out the other 3 kennels in this area that train security dogs, Barnaby noted, flipping through the pages. And if I don't find what I am looking for here, it may be that I just made a wrong guess. As the dog in the background continued to train, Barnaby's eyes suddenly stopped on a specific entry in the ledger. Well, what is the verdict? Billy asked. You found a name that strikes your fancy? I think maybe so, Barnaby whispered, his eyes narrowing as he read the name of the buyer. Meanwhile, back at the law office, Betty was searching through the bottom drawers of Joseph Beecher's filing cabinets. She felt something unusual taped to the underside of the lowest drawer. She pulled it free, revealing a thick envelope stuffed with financial documents. Before she could examine it, the office door opened, and Dan Carson stepped inside, his expression dark.
Who are you?
he asked sharply. I am Betty Jones, Barnaby Jones' daughter-in-law. She introduced herself calmly, slipping the envelope into her bag. You must be Mr. Carson. That is right, Dan said, stepping closer. I was just on my way to court. I thought I would stop by and say hello to your father-in-law. Is he here? Well, I am afraid that I draw all the paperwork in the family. Betty smiled professionally. He is out checking dog kennels. Well, just tell him I said hello, Dan said, his voice dropping into a chilling tone as he reached into his pocket and pulled out a specialized whistle. I will do that, Mr. Carson. Thank you. Thank you. Dan blew a silent dog whistle. Instantly, from the hallway, a massive German shepherd rushed into the room, blocking the exit and growling fiercely at Betty. A short time later, Barnaby arrived at the kennel property where Dan Carson had secretly kept his second trained dog. The police, alerted by Betty before she was cornered, had already surrounded the location. Dan Carson was cornered near the back pens, holding his attack dog on a tight leash as Barnaby and Lieutenant Biddle approached. You look enough like Buck to be his twin brother, Barnaby noted, looking at the second dog. I think it is time we let people know about you.
Carson,
Biddle yelled, drawing his service weapon. Carson, call off your dog. Don't make me shoot him. Now, Carson. Dan Carson looked at the surrounding officers, realizing his grand scheme had completely collapsed. He dropped the leash, raising his hands in surrender. You Mr. Jones? An officer asked as they led Carson away in handcuffs. Yes, Barnaby confirmed. This is Mr. Carson, the man you want, the officer said. Your daughter-in-law is the one who called us. She said you might need some help out here. Barnaby walked over to meet Betty, who was waiting safely by the police cruiser. I trust timing is getting better with each passing day, Barnaby smiled. Later that afternoon, back at the Beecher home, Barnaby explained the entire twisted plot to a relieved Laura and George. Dan Carson's land development investment group was a swindle, Barnaby revealed. Your husband found out about it, amassed some powerful evidence, and was blackmailing him. But why did Dan kill Claudia? Laura asked, holding Colin close. Beecher hid the evidence in an envelope and taped it to the bottom of a filing drawer, Barnaby explained. Carson looked for it, but never found it. And when Claudia started looking for papers indicating a new will, which, incidentally, never existed, Betty added, Carson was afraid that she would find the blackmail evidence, which would, of course, point to him as Mr. Beecher's murderer. Barnaby continued. After Carson killed Claudia, he looked for the evidence again, satisfied that it wasn't in the drawer. He allowed us to look. Us, Betty teased with a smile. A figure of speech, Betty. Purely, Barnaby chuckled. Now, I think that we ought to get out of here and let these folks get on with plans for their housing project. Thank you, sir, George Roswell said, shaking Barnaby's hand warmly. Mr. Jones, I just wanted to thank you, Colin said, stepping forward with Buck by his side. I mean, I guess it was even a little wild there when I thought Buck was the killer. But you always believed in him, Laura smiled. That is true, Barnaby, from the very beginning, Betty agreed. How did you know that Buck wasn't the killer? That was the easiest part of the case, Betty, Barnaby smiled, patting the loyal German shepherd on the head. A dog as well-loved as Buck only knows how to protect his family, not destroy it.